What's up, legendary bitches? Got a very special episode for today. I got Deventure with me. She's a product developer. She works in corporate America, a graduate of Louisiana State University.
Go Tigers.
I'll let her finish, give her own introduction.
Okay, I'm Deventure Curtis. Wait, this ready. You want me to look at the camera or not?
What's up?
Okay, I'm Deventure Curtis. I am 22, here in Bentonville, but I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I attended Louisiana State University, graduated from there in a double major for digital marketing and entrepreneurship.
Okay, digital marketing and entrepreneurship. So let's dive in. You from Baton Rouge. This why you went to Louisiana State? Or is it, what was all your options?
No, I had 12 options.
Hold up, you had 12 options for school?
12 options.
Okay, what was them 12 options?
Okay, so we go NCAT, North Carolina A&T.
Okay,
I
Andy.
had Southern University, Louisiana State University, Clark Atlanta, Georgia State, Howard University, University of Texas in Dallas. Then I had Baylor University, and then I don't remember the other three, but they're just like some one-off schools.
Okay, so tell me some of that thought process, because as I was going through and researching for the podcast, I seen you take a trip like to University of North Texas, Clark, and some other places. Tell me what your thought process of doing that.
Thought process and going to visit?
Yeah, going to visit, even just like, okay, these 12 schools want me. Okay, how many schools were in your head when you first were just applying? Did you go apply, like, I'm going to apply to every school in America?
No.
Or is it like...
So basically, in the program, in Baton Rouge, there's a program called Baton Rouge Youth Coalition, and so it helps alleviate problems surrounding applying for college or elevating in college or high school for underrepresented communities.
Okay.
And so we had a mentor. We all had mentors. And my mentor was Miss Lee. I had her freshman year of high school, and she came back senior year for high school for me. And so we had a limit of 8. Went over the limit thanks to Common App, but I went over the limit. And I just chose schools that were in the area that I want to.
Okay.
And schools I were interested in. So I didn't have a strong preference between HBCU and PWI, so I mixed both.
Okay.
Also too, I thought I was going to get my MBA right after college. So I thought, hey, if I go to PWI now, let me go to HBCU later, and vice versa. If that happens. So that's how I kind of went to picking schools. Clark, it reminded me of home. It's Atlanta.
Yeah.
Even though I'm from BR, I like Atlanta. So I wanted Clark. I didn't want Spelman. I thought Spelman was a little too out of my comfort zone. But just to be in that area, I like Clark and Georgia State, and I've been to Atlanta before in high school, so I said, might as well. And when I got there, things changed. Yeah. It was very much an eye-opener, but I still liked it. It just wasn't what I thought. It was just peaches and cream. It wasn't all that. And so when I went to tailor it down, more so thanks to financial aid and availability. So when I tailored it down, I chose stay at home just because TOPS and all the federal funding that comes from Louisiana. And so it was either Southern or LSU. And my whole family went to Southern. I'm like a Southern baby, I would say. I've been on the campus since I was born and been raised on that campus my whole life. So I was like, I don't know anything about LSU. That's how I picked my high school too. I didn't know anything about the schools. So I was like, why didn't I go to something that I don't know about? So I said, let's go to LSU. Okay.
But even LSU and Southern, that was like, both of them was on your list. Both of them right there at the crib.
Yeah.
You know?
And they were bottom on the list too.
So out of them two, what just gave LSU the edge versus Southern?
More so when I picked, it was more of a, I don't know, school.
Okay.
To say, and also my high school was Baton Rouge Landing High. That school, typically some people would say is a feeder school into LSU. Okay. Even though it's really not, but as a high top 2 school in Louisiana, most people assume that you're going to LSU. But I wanted to give it a chance because I'm from Louisiana and I'm on the north part of Louisiana, so I'm right down the street from Southern. All I know is Southern. I don't know a single thing about LSU besides the color is purple and gold. Okay. And I really didn't know about LSU until high school. Okay. So to say I'm from Louisiana and from Baton Rouge and such a big school is in my area that I really don't know about. Yeah. And the business program was great. The campus was nice. And it's also, I've never took a tour of LSU. I just kind of just chose it on the whim because I didn't know it. So that was really my thought process.
Okay. So when you get in it, let's even take it back to high school. I know you did a lot of stuff in high school. Tell us about some of your high school journey and all your achievements you had in high school.
So in high school, I went from McKinley Middle to Baton Rouge Magnet High. That was a new eye opener. I come from basically predominantly black school, McKinley Middle, to now my mixture of a school. Still mostly black. It's still a good bit black, but it's mostly like the most diverse school I've ever been to. And so I chose the same reason as LSU. I didn't know about the school, so let's try it out.
Okay.
And so I did a lot of things. I'm into the creative arts and visual performing arts. So I did dance. I did dance, art. I also did creative writing. I did directing. I did business classes. And then within those business classes, and with my best friend at the time, she still is to this day, Joanna, she introduced me to business, to DECA, which is a business program, or you can call it a club, that we compete nationally and internationally for business competitions. So that's how I got into marketing. And once I took the business classes at Baton Rouge High, so I took accounting, I took business law, I took accounting 1 and 2, and I took some other business classes, entrepreneurship and stuff like that. I was just like, this is kind of like where I fit in. So I did DECA for all 4 years of high school. I also did African American Club. Okay. And I danced in that club, but I also did dance outside of school with ballet, tap, and jazz, and so.
Okay, let me find that.
And I did Key Club, which was just a volunteering service club. So I volunteered around Baton Rouge and joined a lot of organizations through that club.
Okay. So, well, I see you trying to be humble. Let's tell them about the marketing competition you was in. You placed in the top 3, but you won 3.
Exactly, I wasn't. But so basically for DECA, you compete with schools first around the region. So that was just Louisiana. Okay. And so at the time I was before I became vice president, I was competing with marketing. We also did team competition, so I always competed with my best friend at the time. Okay. And so me and her, we competed all throughout together, and we'll place first or second depending on what competition it is. And then when it came to me, I would compete strictly in marketing. That's all I wanted to compete in. Yeah. And it was very much, it was an eye-opening experience. You don't prep for it. You sort of say you can prep by doing different versions of the competition, but you don't know what the competition is until in front of you and they ask like your questions and stuff like that. And so it was nice. You only get 10 minutes to prep for each competition. Okay. And you just go to an interview or a judge, and they start interviewing right on the spot. And so it was great. I loved it. I loved being the vice president of it, the org. We got to bring in our own business, which was under DECA at the same time. Okay. So we brought in a Baton Rouge High cookie business, which was a part of the DECA program. And we started selling cookies on campus to promote entrepreneurship within the school. That was a huge success. And just having members of the org that didn't know anything, wasn't even interested in the org, come into the org, and you get to train and mentor them to actually win something, or just to actually get out their shell and compete in something. That was like my pride in the org. So
all right. Yeah. It's already been a full episode. You can drop some gems already.
Yeah.
So now let's actually get into, you went to LSU. Now let's go freshman year. Tell me about coming there freshman year versus your 4 years up over. You even had the pandemic in some of your time in college. So till freshman year, the pandemic hit, they sent everybody home, then coming back, it wasn't even post-pandemic, but finishing up afterwards till you graduated.
So, mind you, I chose LSU on a whim. Honestly, I chose LSU because senior year, when it got down time to put it on the graduation paper, where are you going to go to school at? Yeah. I just said LSU. And so that's how I chose to go to LSU, and they paid for it. So, okay. But, moving, and we have a welcome week at LSU. That's a week before we move in on campus. Not moving. It's a week before school starts, where the freshmen move in on campus. And honestly, it was like, okay, like, I'm going to LSU. I don't think I'm gonna like it, but you know, let's like try this out. And then once I moved in very late.
Okay. Before you go to fuck, how big is LSU?
It's big. It depends on how, like.
I'm saying just, we're down with like Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, the deep south. So
okay.
Compared to like coming from your high school to going to LSU, how big would you say?
It's big. It takes I used to stay in the front of campus, and so business college was in the back of campus. It would take me 20 minutes to walk to the back of campus to go to school, depending on what classes I had. Or like you would take the bus to go around campus.
You know, you got a big campus, so you need a bus.
Yeah, and then also that's just the school. That doesn't include like the stadium, the veterinarian school, which is even more outside of campus. So it really depends. But it's big, and so that was kind of like an adjustment to learn. But once I moved in, I think when I went to my welcome week activity the first day, when they had like a fair outside of the PMAC and stuff, and me and my roommate went, we didn't know each other. I chose her on a whim just because she was black, and that was a better housing. But on that day, I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna like it here. And then after that, I've been sticking to LSU. I've been liking it. Most of the time, the school impressed me. I didn't need to impress the school needed to impress me to like it. So I liked it. I got involved in a lot. I joined and also been part of the chartering organization, the Black Women's Empowerment Initiative. I was in LSU NAACP. I used to be on the education committee, but I've been doing that since freshman year. I also decided to get out of my comfort shell and be a resident assistant, you can call it an RA, and mentor a whole bunch of young ladies throughout their freshman year in college, and mentored them up. And I'm still close with a lot of them now. I did that sophomore, junior, and senior year, and I did some other things. I did Black Student Union for a little bit. I was an entrepreneurship fellow. I used to be an entrepreneurship ambassador for the College of Business, and I did some other things. I don't think they're that important, but I did some other things on campus, so I loved it.
Okay, let's dive into the resident assistant. I feel like this helped a lot of people out.
Okay.
So I know I was a resident assistant when I played JUCO, and then when I went to Jackson State. So for us, it paid for like your house and also meal plan. So you had to work out with tuition. So tell me a little bit about LSU and how they're resident assistants and how to become one and some of the benefits from it.
Okay, so LSU resident assistant, we can start with the journey to becoming one, and then what you benefit, and then what you do after. Okay. So to become one, there's a flyer that goes around, or like informational things like, oh, do you want to be an RA? Check this out, stuff like that. And so you do the application, and there's also an open house. So if that open house is a building, and you can say it's a student hall or something, in each room they tell you about each of the communities on campus. We have 12 to 13 communities, and they all vary. So now it's grown even bigger because we got new dorms on campus, or they don't call it new dorms, but they got new resident buildings on campus. And so most of them are freshman buildings, but we also have the apartments, Nicholson Gateway, East Campus apartments and West Campus apartments. But we also have Edward Gay, so that's for people who are international students who want to stay at those apartments, students who have families, and just different certain lifestyle predicaments that got them into their position, and they were just like, okay, this is more of an accommodating residential hall. So you do an open house, and then you go through interviews, and you go through, I think, 3 rounds of interviews for what I remember. And then once you're selected, you don't choose your housing, they choose it for you. And so that's kind of a, I would say a win-lose, because you don't know if you're going to get what you really want, or you don't know if you're going to get something that you really hate. Unfortunately, at that time, I got something I really hated, but I grew to love it because of the girls in the community that I was with. So I was in Herget. I was in Herget when they were co-ed, and I also was in Herget when it became an all-girls dorm. And so it was nice to experience. You get free housing. You also get paid bi-weekly, and you also get a free meal plan. But if you want upgrades to the meal plan, you just pay the difference.
Sounds pretty good for me. I get to eat and sleep. Sounds like a real good deal for me. Hey, if anybody come to college, y'all looking for, might not have your full college paid for, look at residence assistants.
Yeah, or even if you do, you can always sign up. Even if you do have college paid for, you can always sign up to be a resident assistant, just so you can have more refund. So you can save more money.
Hey, a lot of people don't know about that refund, and refund be coming in handy.
It does. It really does.
But you even skipped out on something that was major. We all see you here. You got your pink and green bracelet on. You got your green shirt on.
Yeah.
She wants to be humble today. She didn't want to say what she was, but you know, she's an AKA.
I am. I didn't want to say what I was. I don't think about that off the top of my head, but it's also I'm a part of the Or Doors, not part of me.
Okay.
I'm a part of the Or. The Or didn't make me, so I'm still humble to be in it, but I am Alpha Kappa Alpha woman, and so I crossed Fall 21 at LSU for the chapter that's A Kappa.
Okay.
Or some people call it high class chapter.
Okay.
You never know. But that kind of came on later into the college experience, and luckily it did because I had built up a lot to get to that point. But so worth it, love it, ski weed, everything.
Okay. Understood. But all right, so let's kick back on to like pandemic to the end of college.
Okay. So just about that journey?
Yeah, like
okay.
I don't know exactly like for us, they let us come back fall of 2020, but it wasn't nothing going on that year. It wasn't nothing real to like fall of 2021 for us, where we was able to even just be back to we have like you could be on campus, but it was no class. So.
Oh, okay. So mine was kind of different, but you know everybody's different. So I was an RA during that year. That was the first year of RA, and then you know it's COVID kind of here. Like you hear about COVID, but you're just like we don't know what that really is.
Yeah.
And so then I remember vividly I was up in the African American Culture Center on campus.
Yeah.
And then we get an email saying, "Oh, everybody needs to go home for like 2 weeks or something like that." So we're just sitting there like, "Going home? What are you talking about?" Me, I can't go home because number one, I'm an RA, but two, my home is Baton Rouge, so it's not like I was going like fly home, and so that was kind of different. And just trying to advise residents to how to do that or how to like move about in a uncertain predicament or uncertain time. So that happened, and then. Mind you, we're also in Black Women's Empowerment Initiative. I was the treasurer of the org from the beginning until I graduated. And so in that time period, we were all kind of like confused on what to do, but also how to support Black women on campus in those efforts. And so we're all confused. And then it keeps going. Then towards the summer, in the Black Women's Empowerment Initiative, like we were all like close. So we met every 2 weeks. We also did like Big Sister, Little Sister, things of that nature. We did a lot of town halls, just because even though school wasn't open, things still had to be done. We did town halls about sexual violence in the community. We did town halls about sexual assault awareness, lights on campus, how to protect women, how to protect Black women on campus. Because we did have, that was kind of rising in time with the title and stuff. And so then we go back to school that's my junior year now, of fully COVID. But everybody has to be back on campus. Yeah. Because it was mandatory for everybody to be back on campus. And so navigating how to work an RA job where you have to interact with people, but then tell people to stay in their rooms all the time is kind of different. Yeah. And so that one, I would say, wasn't the best year I had job-wise or interaction-wise. Because I went from a super high to a super low. And then it's just kind of difficult to do things, especially with administration having their set ways and then trickling down to actually working. And it's just like, it's not happening how y'all want it to happen. And then we having less things on campus going on. We have really nothing on campus going on. Everything's with a mask, more so. I had mostly all my classes still in person. Yeah. Mostly everybody didn't have it, but since my classes I was in a double major and most of my classes were senior level, they're smaller, so they still made me have my classes in person. But the teachers were very gracious of my time and stuff like that, and gracious on paper, like grading things and understanding. So it was still good. I actually had my best social year kind of COVID wise because we still had a lot of house parties and things like that during the COVID. Shouldn't have happened, but it happened. And then and then senior year, that's when everybody's trying to adjust back to COVID. but also not adjusting at the same time. I think more so everybody was just moving like COVID wasn't existing no more. And so that was kind of like the weird transition back to a regular campus.
Okay. Even just speaking about you being a resident assistant, like having to deal with a whole bunch of people, different attitudes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you had to deal with a lot of freshmen during your time there, but just even saying like, okay, I'm not like an example I had at Colin, like just seeing some stuff that freshmen to come in and do and try to do. I was like, okay, you know they're on us hard right now. Don't even like. It was like, why you sneaking somebody in? We got visitation. Let me just sign in, bro.
It's a lot, and also like it's just trying to communicate. It taught me a lot because I'm not the most social person, but being an RA made me very social to break out of that character. And so it's just taught me a lot of just being social, being understanding, and to get to know somebody, you need to talk to them, and to talk to them, you might need to be the first one to reach their hand, reach the hand out and give them like a push. And so I had some wild freshmen. I love them all to death, but I had some wild freshmen. We didn't have visitation hours, luckily, because that would have been a lot. But well, we probably did, but nobody ever followed them. But that was like on weekends and stuff. But we did have a lot of drunk things going on, especially because Tiger Land was right there. Yeah, we had a lot of. I was in a sorority. You can call it sorority fraternity. Dorm, so it was mostly dominant of Panhellenic sorority fraternity women and men. So it was just a lot of parties, a lot of things going on that shouldn't be going on. It's a lot of girl issues, and then also it's communal. So it was just like helping women learn how to use a shared space and leave it better than how they found it. And so it's a lot.
Okay. All right. Now I want to dive into like your management position, intern position. Tell us about that.
Okay, so for college, my first ever internship was event operations, which is called Go Team at LSU. So event operations is more so behind the scenes of all the sports. And so I would do event operations. I didn't do it for the fall, so I didn't do no football, luckily. But I did more so women's basketball, gymnastics, baseball, and you can also do all the sports, but we get to choose in the springtime which sports you want to do because so many sports are going on at the same time. And so you just do event operations. So for instance, if I did beach volleyball, I was going to be the one who was actually keeping the total of the score. If I was doing basketball, I was going to check and make sure the security was working. I was going to make sure that concession stands are nice and clean, ready to be open. I was going to make sure that the bathrooms were nice. Also, make sure that the refs got everything they need. Make sure that the game is going smoothly behind the scenes. And that's what it was for gymnastics. That's what it was for mostly all sports. Baseball too.
Okay. Now tell me how you pivoted over from college to come into Bentonville, Arkansas to work at the number one retailer in the world.
Okay, so it was a lot. Well, it wasn't a lot, but it was a lot. So basically, sophomore year during that COVID period, it kind of was like the world stopped, but it's also like with the world stopping, school is still going. Yeah, I'm still graduating on time. Like that's not slowing down. And then I had this feeling of like I'm too behind. Like I'm way too behind, and I should be having internships back to back to back, and I just only did that event operation stuff, and that wasn't enough. Like I just need to get something done. And so I just started looking up internships just anywhere. I just looked up and applied to anything I seen, anything. I just applied to anything. And so I looked at Walmart, applied to the internship for merchandising. Didn't even know what merchandising is. So I'm a marketing major. We don't have a merchandising program at school. So applied, I got it and like did the interview, got in luckily. And so then I did it over the summer. And it was pretty eye-opener, just because you coming from a college life to, okay, you waking up from 8 to 5, doing work. Yeah. And it's not a gradual transition. It's just like you starting at 8, closing at 5, you're doing work virtually at home. And also I was working another job during the internship. So I was being a high school mentor while doing that. Okay. And so that was a lot. But it was still eye-opening. I still enjoyed the experience. And then when they asked me to come back again, I said, sure, I'll come back. And then that was my first job opening, or first job that I was offered my senior year. And I just wanted that mindset of my senior year to be set. I didn't want to have to worry about anything. I didn't want to have to think too much. I just wanted to do my classes, worry about graduation, worry about even crossing at that time. I just wanted to worry about other things and worry about what's going to happen after college. And so I just accepted the job. My manager worked with me at the time to see what I really wanted to do in merchandising. And then we also talked to my mentor about transitioning out of merchandising, eventually to go back into marketing or go into entrepreneurship. But that's how I got it. And that's how I'm here now.
All right. So tell us a little bit about your experience doing product development.
So my experience in product development, super simple, super easy right now. Thanks to my manager, she's been the best. She's so gracious. But product development is different because I was not doing that over the summer. I chose that off. I chose that off the whim because what I was doing over the summer before I came to Bentonville, I was doing merchandising operations. And after that, it was a good position. But I realized that me giving merchant suggestions and they could choose whether they want to do it or not just wasn't the role for me, because if I offer a suggestion, I would love to see it happen. And with that position, you just wouldn't see it happen unless they choose to go on board with it or change up. So I was like, no thank you, let me get something more creative. So I went to product development, and product development been smooth so far. I'm an analyst at the moment, so I just review all the products that's on the shelves or getting to the shelves, and I make sure they work up to the merchants and the product development manager dreams. And I also do a lot of other things for the team besides product development, but that's another story.
So how do you approach problem solving and decision making in your role?
So mostly all the problem solving and decision making is just me basically talking either with my manager, who is just right above me, or I'm talking to the suppliers. And so if I have an issue with the product at hand not working to what the merchants have bought, then I go up to the suppliers like, hey, this is what we bought and this is the product. This is not working, or this is not aesthetically pleasing compared to the product at hand. But if there's something that is bigger or something that is a little technical that more so has to do with the product development manager, then I just go up to her and we talk it out, we discuss it, and we discuss also with the merchants what's going on, and we go from there.
So can you explain the process for when customers give you feedback and how you kind of integrate that into your process?
So with us, since I'm in seasonal, most of the business is product development, and so we don't really receive customer feedback until it's on the shelves, and until we see how it's selling and how it's doing. And so more so we look into social media. So TikTok right now is very big for Valentine's Day. So far everybody's liking the products, but we look and see the comments on the website, but also we look into what's trending on social media and what's not trending or what they don't like, and we just try to make the adjustments for the next year. Because we're always working a year, sometimes a year and a half ahead. So while Valentine's is going now, we've already worked on Valentine's starting in October. So we're just trying to see.
So how do you prioritize and manage your tasks and projects that you have, and still, keep a good balance so you're not working to, from 5 in the morning to 12 the next day?
More so, I try to do everything right when I get it. Because if I push it off, it's gonna get pushed off until the day of that it really needs to. And with my job, I'm tired kind of because the PD manager is waiting for me, but also the suppliers are waiting for me. So I try to do everything at hand right when I get it, but I also respect my own time to know that 5 o'clock is cut off. I'm not gonna sit here longer. I'm not taking a shorter break. I will be taking an hour break. So it's also having respect for my job and doing what I need to do, but also having respect for myself as a person, because if you don't have that respect or don't have that grace for yourself, you can't really do your job how you need to do.
So how would you handle something that changes up in the development process, or just a hiccup or something happen, or all type of fires that happens up in business?
So mostly, I just go straight to my manager. I go straight to my manager. My job is more so of like or if you want to view it, you can also be viewed as like an assistant to the PD manager, because I'm just looking at her execution of the business.
Okay.
And so I'm overlooking everything. So if a problem or a hiccup or anything, hey, excuse me, like something's going on, something's going wrong, and then we can meet with the supplier. We might set up a time to meet with them virtually, or things of that nature. But more so, my position is the manager or the supplier. Like, let's have a meet up, so let's talk about the issue, because if I find the issue, I shouldn't really be finding the issue, but I'm also the last person to really see everything. So it's just like, let's go back to the drawing board and let's redo some things.
Okay. So now we're actually going to dive back into a little bit of marketing stuff you was talking about earlier.
Okay.
So as I was going through your LinkedIn, going through your resume and stuff, I seen like you had some marketing certificates and stuff like that, and you certified within, I think it was social media marketing or something like that.
Yeah.
Content marketing and a couple more things. So tell us about some of your learnings from that and how you went about getting certified in different things.
So LSU, in the marketing program, you have, I think you have 3 different concentrations on what you can market, or you don't have to concentrate at all. You can just experience them all. You can do marketing analytics, you can do digital marketing, or you can do professional selling, which is like your Carsman type selling. Well, not Carsman selling, but like, you know, selling products actually. So, so I chose digital marketing, and so with the certification, sometimes it went with the class, sometimes it didn't. But more so, HubSpot was like a easiest way to get certified, because 1, it's free. You don't pay for anything, and 2, it's easy, it's up and going, it's always on the internet, and they have multiple certifications. So I think with digital marketing, you can choose out of 20 certifications which one you want to do and which one you want to concentrate in. And I thought that was a great way to begin getting certifications before I go into my Google certification or my Facebook Meta certification for marketing.
All right. So now, let's say if you will accept me run my business, and I need somebody to help me out with some content creation, and it's gonna pivot over to what kind of what you do on Instagram and some stuff to that. So let's say I just want to be the next big influencer. I just want to be, who's the influencer up on land now? There's not a rapper or a player, like Mr. Beast or somebody. How could I be the next Mr. Beast or be as big as Drake on Instagram?
Okay, so first you need to decide what exactly you want to do, or even if you don't know exactly what you want to do, because some people don't know exactly what they want to do, they know exactly who they want to be at the outcome of that. So I might say, hey, I don't know exactly what I want to do, but I just want to be somebody that be on TV. I want to be able to maneuver in all different networks and be like a Terrence J hosting or something like that. And so we'll look into that, but also we'll look into somebody's interest and see what are they actually interested in. Because if you're interested in hosting or something, but you don't like music, you don't want to do radio, I'm not going to push you as a radio host. So it's just looking into different things of what they want to do, what their interests are, and then finding content that can go around their interests that also mesh with that person. So I'm not going to say, for instance, somebody likes cooking, but they also don't want to just cook by themselves. They want to host at the same time. I'm not just gonna let them cook by themselves every single video. I'll have like, hey, let's do cooking with a friend, and let's teach one of my best friends how to cook. And while we teach them how to cook, we sit there and ask questions, getting to know more about that person, but also getting to know more about the food as well. And so it gives it that hosting, but also gives it that cooking vibe. So it's just merging interests together and to get to that one final picture. But we'll plan content, schedule it to not be also throughout the week, just because mostly people are working at the same time. So just bulking it out, planning it, making sure that it's aligned true to your values and your interests, and then posting the content.
You ever thought about doing any coaching or even sit on like a little marketing course?
I have, but I'm not. I feel like I'm not at that level yet.
Like, you just break down the game
I
for
feel
me.
like I'm not at the level yet of what I want to, and sometimes what I want to is bigger than what I think. So I'm not at the level yet. I feel like once I start changing my position into like a marketing and get a feel or an actual experience of like corporate marketing or agency marketing or freelance, then I'll go into that. But right now, no.
Okay, that's fair. Now let's pivot over to what you be doing on Instagram.
Okay.
So, you know, randomly a couple of days I'm scrolling through Instagram and I see your page. It says, you know, everybody come get dressed and watch me get dressed in the mornings. So tell me about that.
Just how it came to be?
Yeah, how it came to be. Did it just something, okay, I'm corporate now and I'm getting dressed, what I'm putting on. You know.
Okay, it's a few things. So, in college, LSU, not the notorious school of dressing.
Okay.
But in college, I got a lot of compliments on how I dress.
You putting that stuff on?
Exactly. So I got a lot of compliments on how I dress, and it wasn't like uncommon to see me dress up.
Yeah.
I used to actually, before COVID, I used to dress up every day for school.
Okay.
And then when COVID happened, it became sweatpants and
it happened to everybody.
Until like certain occasions and stuff. And so I used to be in a lot of like best dress awards and things like that nature. And so now since I moved to Arkansas, I dress up for corporate. I dress up for job, but also too, my job is not as dress up or not as corporate America as one may seem. Very casual, but at the same time I still want to go into there dressed up and be my best self.
Yeah.
And so number one, I'm in Arkansas, I don't have nothing to do most of the time. And two, it's also an outlet for me to show creativity without somebody watching me in person every step of the way.
Okay.
And so it's a way to share it through the online space and reach multiple people, or even reach the people back at home, and just seeing like, what am I actually wearing to work at Walmart in a corporate setting? And to also break the stereotype of like, you don't have to wear a suit. You don't have to be a white person wearing a suit with a nice blouse on every day. You can come yourself. Just come as an elevated version of yourself to Walmart. So that's what it was. Okay.
How many outfits do you got? Because as I was scrolling, I see at least 100. I was like, she got a different outfit on every day. I'm like, okay.
Online, I don't know. Also, another thing, I don't take pictures a lot of myself. So that was another way for me to like show my outfit, because I wear a nice outfit and I don't take a picture, and I'm just like, oh, well then. Next day. And so it's a lot. It's a great creative outlet for me, especially because I don't do art anymore, but also I have a lot of clothes. I'm interested in clothes, and whatever the vibe is, that's what the outfit comes with. So yeah, like today is a very casual but colorful day. Well, it's gloomy outside, so I had to be a little bit colorful. And so I was like, okay, let's go with a colorful vibe.
Okay. So, and also something how you be doing this makeup, because you be popping out.
Exactly.
How about the makeup?
Makeup is another. I have a lot of hobbies. But makeup is my more artistic hobby. Especially because I don't draw or paint anymore. But makeup is the most tangible hobby I can do that somebody can see and I can show out at an event. I might not do it every day. I don't do it every day, but I'll put on makeup going to an event. So I love doing it. It's fun. There's so many techniques that you can do in makeup. I don't think I would ever do it as like a business wise. Not like doing other people's makeup, but I think it's fun to do it on myself. Yeah,
I got to tell you a story real quick. So I'll be talking back and forth to my mom and grandma's auntie and all of them. So I put up a picture, like I think it was me, you, Curvin, Janae, a couple more people. And then, you know, my mom know Kevin Hart was up here. John, what's his name? John Legend. Shaq was up here the other week. So my mom get the, you know, Trey, how's Gabrielle Union up there? You didn't want to tell nobody. Where? I'm like, Mama, Gabrielle Union out here. What you talking about? The girl in the picture, that's Gabrielle Union right there standing beside you. I'm like.
That's a compliment.
I'm like, okay.
But no, I love makeup. And even though it might seem extra, it comes out great. It's handy, so I love it.
Okay. So how long have you been like playing around just doing stuff for makeup?
I've been doing makeup since high school. And so more so, I've been doing makeup and hair. Here I just don't do my hair as much as I did back at home. But I played with makeup and hair since high school, and I didn't really get into like practicing makeup until freshman year of college, when I'd be in my dorm room doing nothing. So that's how I got into it.
Yeah, she like to be humble. Don't let her fool y'all, man. She really be popping out. Like, when I say you put that on, she be putting it on. She be going with the fit, face be beat. I be like, okay.
Exactly. We have to show how to represent.
Yeah, you know.
Represent.
Okay, now I just want to talk to you about being in Arkansas in general, especially Northwest Arkansas, because it's not as I say. You really got Northwest Arkansas, you got Little Rock, and then everything in between, some trees.
Yeah.
So, tell me how you just feel about scenery, restaurants, nightlife, and just in general, just staying in Arkansas.
Okay, we can go bullet point. Northwest Arkansas is not really the South. I'm going to stand on that. It is definitely the Midwest because I am closer to Missouri than I am to Little Rock. And so it's more so, even though they do consider themselves the South, it's more of a Midwest vibe. I personally feel, and it's also too within Northwest Arkansas, it's not a lot of people who are actually from Northwest Arkansas. It's a blend of culture. It's a lot of NWA transplants here. So honestly, there is no true sense of a Northwest Arkansas vibe because it's more so of people who are not from here trying to make this place up to be bigger than what it was originally. So it's cool to see like a city building. I feel like we're still in the building stages of the city, and new things come up here and there. Especially like with the Whataburger and the Five Guys, they're just not building. So it's nice to see it. It's cool to see something that's developing in front of my eyes. Scenery wise is really nice here. Everywhere else is full of trees. I love it though, but I love it, but it's just like driving around when you get to nowhere, or when you get out of Northwest Arkansas, you're just looking at trees, and you can just see small towns.
Small towns and mountains. Exactly,
and so it's nice. I love watching scenery and stuff, but it gets a bit draining and tired because it's also like there's nothing else to do but look at sceneries. The nightlife here, there's no nightlife.
You live in Dixon?
There's no nightlife. If you ever went, I feel every SEC school has it. They always have a strip of bars. Yeah, and so. LSU Tigerland is very different from University of Arkansas Dixon Street. The University of Arkansas Dixon Street is where everybody goes out. Where more so Tigerland is just the college students in that area, and so it's pretty different. It's calmer compared to where I'm at, where I used to be at. But it's okay. After a while, it gets a little boring, and there's nowhere else to go out to have a good time at night. And so it's more so like you either go there or you find an event or you stay home. Yeah. And then the eating places out here are pretty different from what I'm used to. In Louisiana, you have more so your Cajun Creole, your gas station food, the one-off restaurants, the seafood boil places, and here it's more so. It's just more so restaurants. Yeah. Like more so sitting in restaurants, families, families like Americanized restaurants. So you got your local line, which it should be like a Mexican restaurant, but it's an Americanized version of a Mexican restaurant. You have a lot of Indian cuisines here, but it's like an Americanized version of the Indian cuisines. And then you have like, you can consider it soul food, but it's not it's not a black soul food place. It's more so of this is American food, and we're going to eat burgers, we might eat pizza, we might eat chicken tenders and stuff, but it's not crawfish etouffee or gumbo. It's not none of that. It's not a black soul food place. So if you want a black soul food, you will really be trying out. You can go to Fayetteville, you can go to Chicken Heads. Yeah. But that's wings. Yeah. So, and that's like the only one place. So you also all really got to go to Little Rock, and that's even different
since I've been here.
You haven't had Chicken Heads?
No, but I tried around a couple of other places. I was kind of disappointed. So
did you try Rams?
Yeah, I did.
Was it good?
It was decent. It wasn't,
That's the wing spot they rate though. And so it's not good. Like more so, being here either made me save money by not going out. Yeah. Which I can be saying like I'm happy and kind of blessed about that, because I know if I was in a bigger city, I'll probably be spending my money going out all the time. So it has like saved me in that aspect, but it also has saved me in the aspect of focusing on work and not knowing my purpose of being here and not drifting away or like needing to drive, do all these different road trips to find entertainment. So it just got me comfortable being by myself. So
Okay. So let's talk about Wally Group. So, you know, our group chat, I'm talking about Wally Group.
Oh, okay.
I see you confused. So Wally Group. So how do you, so this is a group of us, it's all, let's say all of us, I'm 21 to 25 in there.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you feel like that community helps you out versus if it came up here not really knowing nobody or getting put in the group?
It helps out tremendously. It's basically like a network of us. That's not only here just to work, but it's also our first time to work and building a community within ourselves and to find our belonging here. For even depending on some people a short amount of time or even for a long amount of time. So it's helped a lot. At least like it also has built like an interaction because without that group I probably wouldn't be interacting with much people, knowing me. So it has increased my interaction around here and it also made me somewhat stable. Knowing that there's like like-minded people in the area that wants to do something, doesn't really want to talk about work all the time. And it's always like supporting others here at this area. So
all right, now I gotta get into these fire round questions and do my fatal four.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try to make you interested. If you walked outside today, and let's say somebody came and cut you $1 million check, tax free, what would you do?
Okay. If somebody cut me $1 million check, tax free.
So you get the full meal.
Most of it's going into this savings account. Then a good bit is going into like starting a business. Starting a business that I plan to do during college. And then the other money is probably just give some money to my mama, and then that's it.
Are you going to work Monday?
Yeah, I'm going to work. Nobody gonna know I got it. Nobody gonna know I got it.
Okay, so if you could network or link with any one person, who would it be?
Emma Grande. Do you know who that is? No. So Emma Grande, she's basically the co-founder and co-owner of Good American, Jeans, Skims. She basically does all the businesses for the Kardashians, and so I would want to network with her.
Okay, I think I've seen her. I think she did an episode.
And she's on Shark Tank.
Yeah, she's on Shark Tank. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you go back and talk to your 18-year-old self, what would you tell her?
Keep doing what you know.
Okay.
Don't change nothing. Keep doing what you know.
Okay. So what is the best advice you have ever heard or the most important lesson you have ever learned?
What is it again?
Yes. What is the best advice you have ever gotten or the most important lesson that you have learned?
Situations are temporary. So all situations can change within a matter of an instant. So your current situation doesn't have to be your final destination. And you can always learn from what you experience or what you see. You don't have to experience something to learn something from it. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. So those are fatal four. So let's go and get ready to close the show. You gotta let everybody know where they can find you in case they want to see how you be popping out, doing your makeup, or they might want to see some of you how you be dressing.
Okay, so you can follow me, Deventria. It's just my first name on everywhere. Deventria, DEVENTRA. No hashtags, no underscores on that. Just Deventria.
Got any closing words you want to leave us with?
Not really. Thank you for having me.
Oh, appreciate you for being on.
Trey's been such a great person in Arkansas, so y'all check Trey out.
Hey, y'all stay focused, y'all stay motivated. And before we go out, I heard this other day on the podcast, y'all gotta quit being humble. Please don't be humble. Celebrate yourself. If you do something good,
you can celebrate and be humble at the same time.
I say you can celebrate and have humility, but don't be humble. If you did something, you deserve that. Hey, celebrate yourself. Hey, stay focused, stay motivated, and we out.
We out. Bye, y'all.
Make sure my next one.